Breadbox Media programming is brought to you by...
Hi, I'm Scott Hahn, and I'd like to invite you personally to join me and Breadbox Media on August 24th in New Oxford, Pennsylvania, for a day of spiritual renewal. I'll be presenting 3 talks, one on St. Joseph, one on the Sacrament of Matrimony, and another one on the Holy Eucharist. Learn more and register at breadboxmedia.com/PA conference. I hope to see you there.
Introducing the redesigned CatholicSingles.com, featuring new ways that put the spotlight on the person and their faith, not just a profile picture. For the past 20 years, faithful Catholics have used CatholicSingles.com, and the reimagined CatholicSingles.com website is ready to help single Catholics take the next step in sharing meaningful relationships with other faithful Catholics. Remember, CatholicSingles.com for faith, fellowship, and love.
Well, hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lisa, Hendey and Friends. I am so excited to be back behind the microphone with a guest today from sort of my old stomping grounds of Fresno, California, as we begin an exciting conversation today with Lisa Newsom. Lisa is the founder and executive director of the Monsignor McCormick Jamaica Mission Project, which is a 501c3 which brings grace and dignity to the poorest of God's poor in Jamaica through outreach, evangelization, and giving of self. Since 2002, 27 teams and over 260 missionaries have joined MMJMP to build 22 homes and assist with the building of a factory and medical, dental, and eye clinics. The project facilitates the formal education of more than 200 children annually. Basic English, reading, writing, and math skills are taught to children and adults with the hope of erasing illiteracy and learning skills to acquire income. So joining me today is Lisa Newsom, the founder and executive director of this beautiful project. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Lisa, and thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a real treat. And while we've never met in person, I've actually attended your parish, and our family hailed from Fresno for many, many years, and I'm very excited to have you on the show today to talk to you about this very special event that's being put on in September to raise some much-needed funding for the project. But I want to talk, before we talk about that special event, more about you and about how you got involved with Monsignor McCormick's project. So tell me a little bit more about, first of all, maybe about you and your family.
So I am married 40 years this December, praise be to God. And my husband and I have 2 children and 5 grandchildren. My husband is retired military, 33 and a half years, we're proud to say.
Wow.
And in our retirement, yes. Yeah, and kudos to all the military and military families out there.
Thank you for your family's service.
Thank you so much. So we are in retirement now, and, doing what most people do, filling our time with things we've always wanted to do. We're traveling a lot, spending more time with the mission. And we have been my husband's been in Fresno his whole life. I came in 74 to go to college and never went home, never went back. This has been my home ever since.
And for listeners who've never been to Fresno, as Lisa Newsom and I are speaking, it is July in Fresno, which if you ever wanted a little taste of possibly heaven / the fires of hell, it's Fresno in July.
Actually, we're very, very lucky right now. It's only going to be I think 90 degrees today or something.
But a dry 90 degrees.
So. Yeah, right.
So Lisa, when did you get involved with the Monsignor McCormick Jamaica Mission Project? Because I know Monsignor was not always in Fresno. He's been there the last several years, but was in other parts of the diocese before this. How did you guys get involved with the project?
So actually, we started the project.
Oh.
The project is actually our own. And it was started when Monsignor was not yet a Monsignor. He was still Father Pat to us. And he was at St. Mary, Queen of Apostles Church in Fresno, which was prior to him being moved to St. Patrick's in Merced, which was prior to him being moved back to his current location at Holy Spirit in Fresno.
Wow.
And we were at a memorial mass for the 9/11 tragedy that Father Pat was holding. And at that mass, excuse me, he did what he called a $100 challenge. And he chose 10 families who were present at the mass, and he gave each of us $100 and asked us to go out and do something good for someone in need. And the idea was to make something good come out of the tragedy that was 9/11. So that was a year after 9/11 in 2002. And just a month or two prior to that, we had a visiting priest at our parish who was doing an appeal for the Diocese of Mandeville, Jamaica. And I was just blown away, moved by this priest's presentation. And I told my husband at the time, I had always wanted to do mission work, and I told him if I ever had the opportunity that this was the man I wanted to work with. And so just, by the grace of God, a couple of months later, this challenge came up. And so we decided to locate that priest, his name is Father Gary Weissman, and see if we could do something to help in the Diocese of Mandeville, Jamaica.
Wow.
So that's what we did. Yeah. We located him. We told him what was going on, asked him if he had any ideas. And he subsequently went to the bishop in Mandeville, and he came back to us with a couple of ideas that were on their, most needed list of things that needed to be done. And so we chose our first project, and we started to raise money, and the rest is history, basically.
Wow.
And it was all providence. It was 100% all God's work, God's hand. We chose a project that was pretty impossible, really, we thought. There was an orphanage in Black River that was directly across the street from the Caribbean Sea, and every year when the hurricanes came, the orphanage building was flooded, and they had to move the children to higher ground to another location. And in that location, they had no kitchen facilities. So they were having to bring all of their meals into all of these kids.
Well, that's
so they
a little
desperately
inconvenient.
needed to have kitchens. Not only inconvenience, but the amount of money and time, to go into that. I mean, I just don't even know how they were doing it. So what they wanted was to change what was basically a couple of little closets into this big kitchen area. So we took on that project, and our original goal was to raise $10,000 US. So we did whatever you can imagine. What we tell people is if it was legal, we would do it. We washed cars. I mean, literally, we made burritos, everything. Anything anyone would buy or pay for, we were willing to do. And we actually ended up raising more than double our goal, over $20,000.
Wow.
But the part that made it turn into really the mission was during the time when we were doing all of the fundraising, I began to hear the voice in my head telling me that there was more to this mission than writing a check and mailing it to the Diocese of Mandeville.
Right.
And I really felt that this was a calling for some of us to go there and see what Father Gary was preaching about and really, basically get our hands dirty and help to facilitate this all on our own, by ourselves. So I thought that was a bit crazy, but I always try to listen to the voice, So I went to Father Pat and I told him what I was feeling. And I was, no less than shocked when he looked at me completely straight-faced and said, "That sounds great. Count me in."
Wow. I'm not surprised
Yeah.
knowing him, but if you were to meet Monsignor McCormick for the first time, you might not expect him to be like a roll up your shirt sleeves kind of guy, but he's such a great
right.
heart. And I love that this has been going on for, you're getting close to 20 years now, and you've taken
Yeah, we are.
all these teams of people. How many times have you personally been down there?
So I go every single time. I am the leader, facilitator, project coordinator. So I do all of the planning, all the coordination, plan all the projects, recruit all the people, plan I do all of the travel arrangements. So never a team is there without me.
What's the average size of the team that you take?
We average about 10 normally. Sometimes we're 9, sometimes we're 12. The last couple of years I've done 15 and 18 because they were special teams I was asked to put together. One of them from the St. Paul Newman Center, and then this coming year, a very large group of graduate students from Fresno State.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So it can be a larger group. So in the beginning, I was taking one team a year, and then more and more people were interested. So some years I had 2 teams or 3 teams or 4 teams, and I would stay there the entire time, and our teams would switch out every week. A team would come home the same day a new team came in.
So you really have had the grace of becoming a part of that community and seeing the long-term impact of the work being done there.
And that really, Lisa, that is one of the most amazing parts of the entire thing, is for me to have not just me, but many members of our team who have been in from the beginning and have continued to go, like Monsignor and my family. I had the joy this last year of taking my 11-year-old granddaughter and another 11-year-old and his mother. Those were our youngest members ever. And it's amazing to watch how that kind of thing can transform someone's life.
Wow.
But to see the difference that we have made, one of the parts of our mission that we are most proud of is our work with an education program there. And I now, for about the last 10 years, I go a separate time of the year from when I take teams. I go in August, from August to September. I'm there for about a month. And I go to implement an education program that we are involved with. And we send upwards of 220, 230 students to school every year who otherwise would never have the ability to attend school. Because they're in Jamaica, it's a third world country, and what they consider free education is not really free.
Yes.
The kids have to wear a uniform. They buy all of their books. It's like going to the bookstore at one of the colleges here. And from the first grade on, they purchase all their books. They also have to take taxis back and forth to schools because you don't necessarily go to a school that's within 2 or 3 miles of your home.
So you're facilitating long-term education for all of these students. That's amazing.
Right. Yeah. And last year, for the first time, we actually added a higher education program to our program and sent 9 kids who came through our education program to college. Now, that is watching, progress in action. That's how you change someone's life.
And that must be such a gift for you. So a few years from now, you'll be seeing those students graduate and then begin to matriculate back into their community with the skills they've gotten through their education.
That's exactly right. Exactly. They now come, some of our high school students come and teach summer school for us before we do testing for our program. And the week before, we have all the kids come and we offer them a summer school program. And all of the teachers in our summer school program are kids who have come through our program.
Wow. Again, the name of the program that we're talking about is the Monsignor McCormick's Jamaica Mission Project, which is MMJMP, and you can learn more about the project at MMJMP.com. Lisa Newsom is our guest today, and Lisa, I want to talk with you a little bit about this event that we have coming up in September to raise needed funds for the project. You're, in a sense, Holy Spirit Catholic Church in Fresno is partnering with a great group called Possibility Productions to bring Father Rob Galea to the Fresno area to not only give his amazing witness, but this will be a benefit for the project. How did the idea for bringing Father Rob come about?
Actually, the whole idea came from Brian Kravick at Possibility Productions. He approached Father Pat, Monsignor McCormick, and asked him if he would be interested in bringing him to the parish for a concert. They have facilitated several high-end concerts before at Holy Spirit with Possibility Productions. And Monsignor got in touch with me and wanted to know if I was willing to work with Possibility Productions in order to make this happen and to benefit the mission.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, it is very exciting. Father Rob is an amazing, amazing witness, performer, priest. I mean, for people who don't know who he is, they should go to his website at frgministries.com, or I'm sorry, it could be .org. It's probably .org. And read just a bit about his bio. He was on the X Factor Australia. He is from Australia. He's actually originally from Malta, but his residence and he lives and practices in Australia. He was on the X Factor there. He is an amazing performer. He's a musician. He has performed at the World Youth Day 3 different times, 2008, 2016, and 2019, which is, over 1 million people watching him. He has several recordings, CDs that you can listen to. You can watch the videos. You can purchase the music. He also wrote an amazing book about his journey called Breakthrough, a journey from desperation to hope. And they are now making it into a Hollywood movie.
I love hearing your excitement about him. I've had the great blessing of a long-term friendship over the last several years with Father Rob, and during my time with his publisher, Ave Maria Press, was actually able to kind of be involved in the planting of the seeds for Breakthrough. So it's so fun to see his ministry just truly become a worldwide gift to the church. And I feel like sort of like I'm in a circle of friends today, because Brian Kravick, he's been such a friend of CatholicMom.com, my website for so many years, and so it's sort of like all these friends coming together to do just an amazing work. So the concert, really, which will, and knowing Father Rob, which will be more than a concert, it will feature his amazing music, but you will also hear some of his story, and your hearts will be drawn closer and closer to Jesus. I'm so excited for you to meet him, and I know that he's really going to take to the mission that's behind what this night is all about. So what do you expect for the night of September 15th, which is when this event will be held?
I expect for it to be like one of the most amazing adventures that the audience have ever experienced. It's one thing to go to a concert, even if it's Christian music. It's one thing to go to a concert and experience, that wonderful energy and the love of Jesus that you feel in a room with that many people worshiping at once. But to do it with someone who has such a history and has such a bright, shining light to bring to people who struggle. I mean, we all struggle at some point or another. We all struggle in some part of our lives. And he is just such an amazing example of how the love of God can take all of those struggles and turn them not just into good, but into blessings for other people. I'm excited to have like every youth group in the entire diocese bring kids. I used to spend years and years in youth ministry with my husband and also with my son. And he now is one of the administrators in our mission. So he's on board helping with this. So we're really excited to fill the church. We have 1,000 seats in the church we can fill, and we cut the price on the tickets for groups of 10 or more so that youth groups can bring everyone they want to and fill the church. But families as a whole, I think it's going to be an amazing experience also as a family event.
Yeah, again, this is being held on September 15th at 7 o'clock at Holy Spirit Catholic Church in Fresno. I'll say that if you live anywhere in California, in Arizona, within driving distance of Fresno, which is they say Fresno is so close to so many places, it's definitely worth going over and making an evening event of this. Father Rob will transfix you and transform your heart, and his humility is boundless, but so is his talent, and he's got some songs that you want to study up before you go and actually listen to some of his recent music, which I'm sure he'll be featuring that night. You can get information on the tickets by going to holyspiritfresno.org, and we're going to have links in the show notes for the ticket information, but also for Monsignor McCormick's Jamaica Mission Project. Lisa, if somebody wanted to support you financially or maybe even consider taking a mission with you, what's the best thing for them to do at this point?
The best thing for them to do is go either to our Facebook page at MMJMP or to our website, which is semi-constructed. There's still a lot of extra things we still need to add, but there is a way for them to contact me, or they can contact me directly. They can use my email address at mmjmp2002@gmail.com, and they can get in touch with me directly that way.
So we'll have links in our show notes at the blog for all of this information, all the contact information. Lisa, is there a particular, you were seated with $100, a gift of $100, and we can see what,
right.
what that's been. Now, if somebody, do you have online giving through the website for financial gifts?
We are in process on the website.
Great. So hopefully by the time this runs, but friends, don't let old-fashioned getting out an envelope and writing a check and putting in the mail. I'm sure if you drop Lisa an email, she'll gladly take your donation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So for those financial gifts and for the money that will come from the Father Rob concert on September 15th, what are some of your goals moving forward for financial needs at the mission?
So some of the things that we do every year with our groups, we, first of all of the, like me, all the leaders and facilitators of the groups, we raise our own money. All of our missionaries raise their own money for the trip. None of the money that is donated openly, that all goes towards the projects that we do. So if someone wanted to specifically finance or donate the ability for one of the missionaries to go who can't afford it, those trips cost about $1,800. And as far as specific donation needs for projects that we continually do every year, we try to build at least 2 homes every year for very needy families. Each of those homes costs us $4,000. We talked a lot about the education program. The cost of sending one child to school for 1 year in our program is $650. A year of higher education, which will make us all sick here in the U.S., of course, is about $2,500. We also always have a food distribution location at our home base there where people can come and get rice and peas. And that costs us 100-pound bag of rice and one of peas together cost us about $120.
Wow.
So there's also the medical clinic, the eye clinic, and the dental clinic that we have helped to build, and we bring people to work in every year when we go, and they're always in need of every imaginable kind of medical supply and, medication and things. So we're constantly donating funds to them as well.
I'm just laughing as I'm listening to all this work, Lisa, thinking about how this is your retirement project. I can't imagine you being any busier than you are right now. What's this done for you spiritually in a time? I mean, let's be honest, the Diocese of Fresno has had some challenges, and that's been very public in the last several months. Have you found your own faith renewed by being involved with the Monsignor McCormick's Jamaica Mission Project?
When I first started it, I was in one of those, religious funky spots, where I kind of went to church, but, I just was kind of going through the motions. And as soon as I started the mission, within months into the mission, I felt like a completely different person. I had a whole new relationship with Jesus and with Mother Mary, especially. It was like she was like talking to me constantly, like, you're doing such good work, and wait until you meet the children. And it was amazing to me. And so that was at the beginning. And now when all of the other things like you're referring to come up, I find that it sustains me through that. Like every time I'm feeling not certain, or the in the back of my mind, there are some doubts or whatever, I just turn to the amazing things that God has done and the number of lives that have been changed, not necessarily in Jamaica, but here. Because, we take people there, and we talk about it all the time, how you think you're going to go there and help to change other people's lives, and it is always your own life that has changed the most.
Beautiful.
I mean, undoubtedly.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's the one thing all the missionaries will tell you. They had no idea how much it would affect them.
Well, that is indeed the work of the gospel. And it's interesting. Oftentimes when I talk with other people about the gift of being Catholic, that's one of the things that I mention to me, is to see the work of the church, not just the institutional church, but people who are falling in love ever more deeply with what Jesus taught us in the Gospels, to go out and to see that work being done around the world and in our own country too. It's a great, great gift. And, we know that there's so much need in our world, but also that, even with our own little gifts, whether it's a little gift of a financial gift or a gift of time, that we can really bless people and be blessed, as you mentioned. So that's so beautiful.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Lisa, I could keep you on the phone for hours and hours. I'm just so excited to learn more about this. And I've already written on my wish list for 2020 to travel with you. So I'm going to start working on seeing if I can. So I'll get with you on that separately. You may be getting to know this Lisa a lot better in the near future.
All right. That would be amazing. I would love that.
But I do want to remind our listeners again that no matter where you live, I really want to ask you to check out Monsignor McCormick's Jamaica Mission Project. You can visit them at MMJMP.com. We'll have links in our show notes. And if you're blessed enough to be anywhere within driving distance, or let's say flying distance of Fresno, California, definitely check out this event happening at Holy Spirit Catholic Church on Sunday, September 15th, 7 p.m. Father Rob Galea. You will not want to miss this evening, and it's going to be just a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He does not get over to the U.S. too frequently, so it's a great, great gift. Lisa, before we let you get back to work, because I know you've got a lot of it to do, any kind of closing thoughts that you want to share with our listeners?
I think I just would like to reiterate exactly what you said about the Father Galea concert. It is going to be such an amazing experience, and he may never be in Central California again. We don't know. So it's really the chance of a lifetime for families and church groups and youth groups all over Central, Southern, Northern California to get together and really come. So I really encourage you all to go to holyspiritfresno.org and reserve your tickets. You will get a discount on your tickets if you're bringing groups of 10 or more. So join us for that night and expect wonderful things to happen. And Lisa, I really want to thank you for your time in bringing this to light to so many of your wonderful followers.
Oh, it's a gift. And again, just my heart will be with you as you travel this summer. Best wishes for safe travels and for all the beautiful work that you're doing. And just thank you for giving God your yes.
Thank you so much.
Well, friends, that is it for this week's episode of Lisa Hendey and Friends. We're going to have links over in our show notes at lisahendey.com so you can get a hold of all this information. I'm asking you today to pray in a special way about how you might be part of changing lives, including your own, by supporting Monsignor McCormick's Jamaica Mission Project. Such a beautiful, beautiful work to be done. And remember that any gift, whether it's the gift of time that you give to bless another person by helping them, or if you're blessed to be able to do something financially for a project like this, or something in your own community, say yes to that. God can work miracles through you. That is it for this week's show. I want to thank you so much for being a listener. If you enjoy the podcast, please tell a friend about it this week. Go on over to iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a star rating or a review. Those help me to improve. If there's a guest you'd like to hear on this show, please drop me an email to lisahendey@gmail.com and give me a follow at Lisa Hendey on social media. Love being friends with you out there. Until next week, have an awesome week, friends, and I'll see you soon. God bless.
Hello, this is international Catholic singer Anna Newsom, inviting you to join me and Father Dan Cambra of the Marian Fathers on a select international tour's Divine Mercy pilgrimage to Poland and the Czech Republic. It takes place in September of 2019, and we would love for you to join us. For more information, go to my website, annanewzo.com. Thank you, and God bless.
Breadbox Media programming is brought to you by Jack Kane Ford. Find your next Ford Tough vehicle at caneford.com.